Hello, Seiiti Arata. Everyone who has already tried to wake up earlier at some point in their lives knows how difficult it is to change this habit. And everyone who has searched for tips on the internet on how to wake up earlier has found some obvious advice such as have a good night of sleep or place your alarm clock far away from your reach, don't hit the snooze button, and so on. Today's conversation will be different. We'll talk about some unusual techniques that you can use to wake up earlier without it becoming a sacrifice or damaging your productivity throughout the day. This conversation is aimed at those of you who need to wake up earlier in order to not be late for work anymore, or to have some extra time in your morning routine, or those of you who simply want to feel healthier by adjusting your sleep schedule. So let's start. Our first tip is have a good night of sleep and place your alarm clock far away from your reach. I'm just joking. Before we go actually to the tips, let's first understand that why you're not able to wake up earlier. Not being able to wake up early is a consequence, and to get rid of the consequence, you need to identify the cause first. If you're not able to wake up early, there is a reason for that. You're probably not fully rested yet, or you may have woken up during the night, or you just don't have a good reason to change your habits. Not being able to wake up early is the consequence, but you don't have to fight the consequence itself. First, you need to identify the causes, whatever motivates that consequence. And once you eliminate the causes, the consequence will be resolved by itself. Try to think about the reasons. Maybe you have kids and they wake up constantly during the night, or do you bring the unfinished work home so it stays in your head throughout the night? Or do you go to bed at the right time, but you stay up for another 2 hours watching TV before you go to sleep? Or do you try to fall asleep with the light or the TV or music on? See, no tip about waking up earlier will ever work if your situation and your needs are not clear to you. Be honest with yourself. Which are your priorities? Or just trying to follow some influencers who say that waking up earlier makes you healthier and happier and more productive? You see, there are indeed researchers that state that it is good to follow the circadian cycle and try to go to sleep when the sun goes down and wake up at the sunrise. But there is also research that shows that there are naturally morning people and nighttime people. And something that every study agrees on is claiming that sleep deprivation is very harmful to your health. So if you want to just wake up earlier to do more things at the expense of hours of sleep, please reconsider your strategy. It is better to wake up a little bit later and sleep the necessary amount of time than to wake up earlier and then suffer from these effects of sleep deprivation. And now that this is clear, let's find out about some unusual techniques that you can use to finally wake up earlier. Time travel. The future will tell you if waking up earlier was worth it. The first unusual technique to wake up earlier is understanding the benefits that this habit will bring into your life in the long term. And to do that, grab a pen and piece of paper and write down what you're going to do with the extra time. Now imagine how these activities will build up with time and bring you benefits. For example, let's say you have some back pain, lack of flexibility, difficulty of breath, and you want to practice some yoga, but you never find the time in the middle of your busy morning routine. So then you decide to wake up half an hour earlier and use these extra 30 minutes to practice yoga as your first activity of the day, even before the rest of the people at your house wake up, even before checking your phone or your daily rush begins. Now, if you do this every single day, then each week you have built up 3.5 hours of yoga. In 1 month, that will be 15 hours. In a year, 180 hours of yoga practice. Now, how would your back pain, your flexibility, your breathing be after 180 hours of yoga? This is just an example. It can be followed for almost anything. You can write down what you're going to do with your extra time and imagine the benefits, the accumulated benefits in the future. Now, if you want to wake up earlier, but you don't have any plan on how you're going to be using that extra time, it might be best to just keep sleeping. Half an hour more of sleep time might be better for you than just waking up earlier and stay in bed, just browsing your social media or being sleepy all day long. Use artificial intelligence to wake up at your lightest sleep cycle. Our sleep works in cycles, and one of the issues with traditional alarm clocks is that they go off at a selected time, whether you are in a lighter or a deeper phase of sleep. And when you're awakened at your deepest sleep phase, it probably won't feel very good and you will go back to sleep. And this does not happen when you are awakened at your lightest sleep phase. And one way of solving this is using alarm clocks with some type of artificial intelligence that will wake you up when you are at the lightest sleep phase. And with these alarm clocks, you establish this time frame where you want to be awakened. For example, let's say that you want to be awakened between 6 and 6:30 in the morning. The alarm clock will be tracking your sleep. And within that time frame, when you are in a lighter sleep phase, it will wake you up. There are also smart watches and even smart rings that you can use to do this type of monitoring. But your phone also does that job. There are apps like Sleep Cycle and other similar ones that the microphone of your phone will be tracking your sleep and wake you up at your lightest sleep phase. Besides that, these sleep tracking apps will show you how your sleep night was, how much time you stayed in bed and how much time you actually slept, if you snored, or whether you woke up in the middle of the night. They'll provide you a lot of data that can help you to sleep better and make it easier for you to wake up earlier. Don't get up as soon as your alarm clock goes off. The snooze button can be your friend. Now, who has never hit the snooze button? Who has never thought, oh, just another 5 minutes, when the alarm goes off every time you say, you will wake up earlier. Almost every advice about how to wake up earlier will tell you to never hit the snooze button. For example, you have already seen in our summary number 1, tips from the Miracle Morning book. Remember that? There are a lot of well-known tips to help you to get out of bed as soon as the alarm goes off. So then you can start your day at full speed and be happier and healthier and more productive. But let's think about this. Why, despite of all these tips, people are still tempted to hit the snooze button every time the alarm goes off? If wanting to stay in bed is so natural, is there a reason for that? Perhaps your body wants to wake up slowly. Stay in bed for a little bit more. Enjoy the first few moments of the morning before the daily activities. Try making a friend out of the snooze button. Set 2 alarms, one for the beginning and another one for the end of your waking up process. The first one is for you to start waking up, and the second one will tell you that it's really now time to get out of bed so you don't delay your personal and professional obligations. An excellent way of making your waking up process gradual is using a LED light alarm clock that will be mimicking the sunrise. It begins with a dim light and works its way up with an option to also play some different peaceful sounds of nature to wake you up. Arrange how much time your waking up process will take. And if you want to spend some time in bed to read a book or to write a journal or even check your social media, you can do that. Do whatever you want to. Whatever works for you, no matter what other people say. In order to make long-lasting habits, the ideal thing is to make those habits pleasurable. So if waking up earlier to immediately get out of bed and start your daily activities brings you peace, great. But if it brings you pleasure to wake up earlier but stay in bed for a while to start your day, that's also great. Do whatever brings you more pleasure without interrupting your day-to-day, and then you'll see how much easier it is to create habits of waking up earlier. Try to create a morning ritual that reduces your stress. If the first hours of your morning were more pleasant, it would be easier for you to decide to wake up earlier. Schedule appointments with other people. If it is necessary, you can hire a personal trainer to wake up earlier. You see, for a strange reason, you will find it harder to break commitments with other people than breaking commitments that you have with yourself. If you wake up earlier and then let your brain rationalize whether you should go back to bed or keep awake, you will break your commitments sooner or later. A solution for this is to schedule appointments with other people in the first hours of the morning. For example, you could promise to go to the gym early in the morning with a friend of yours, or you could schedule a French lesson with a private teacher early in the morning. It could be an online class, but the important thing is that you have someone else who's waiting for you at a predetermined time. And if you want to go further, you could hire a personal trainer to help you to create this new habit of waking up earlier. There are statistics of habit creation apps like Coach.me who show that people who hire a personal trainer are 300% more likely to form a habit. Inside of Coach.me, you can find and hire trainers who will help you to establish your new habit of waking up earlier. Take a coffee just before taking a nap. A lot of people are actually able to wake up earlier, but they become sleepy during the day. This affects your productivity, your concentration skills, and even your mood. The best solution is to take a short nap during the day. Studies show that naps up to 25 minutes long, known as the power naps, they are ideal to restore your energy. And if you sleep more than that during the day, you could fall into a deeper sleep, and this will affect your power to sleep well at night. If you like coffee, a good trick is to have a cup of coffee right before taking your afternoon nap. So then you drink the coffee, you go to sleep, and by the end of the nap, you will wake up thanks to the effect of the caffeine. Studies have already shown the positive effect of this technique, which is known as the coffee nap. You just need to avoid doing this very close to the time that you go to sleep. The ideal would be avoiding having coffee at least 8 hours before going to sleep. And that is why the best time to have a coffee nap is right before lunch if your routine allows it. Fall asleep faster to wake up earlier. Switch your TV for visualization. When we decide to wake up earlier, one of the first approaches is just to go to bed earlier. But going to bed earlier doesn't mean that we're going to fall asleep earlier. People who have issues falling asleep may spend more than 1 hour trying to sleep. And that usually means they will end up watching TV or going through their phone when they are in bed. And to avoid that, you can create a rule. Don't allow electronic devices in your room. Remove your TV, your laptop, your tablet from your room. Find an alarm clock that is not your phone, and even remove any sound devices if it's necessary. Instead of watching TV, try to practice visualization to fall asleep faster. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Visualize calm and relaxing scenes. Try to experience this with as many details as possible. Whenever your mind starts to think about other things, gently bring your attention back to the visualization. And this exercise will help you to relax and could make you fall asleep faster. Wake up just a minute earlier and then celebrate that minute as a great victory. The time that you wake up is a habit. Your body gets used to that schedule and then creates biological needs according to that habit. And if you suddenly decide you will stop waking up at 10 in the morning and begin to wake up at 6 in the morning, your body will be shocked. Such a drastic change can deregulate some biological functions, and thus your brain will try everything it can do to go back to the old routine. This means you need to be realistic, have smaller expectations, and try to start slowly. Instead of waking up at 10, try to wake up at 9:30. And if you can even make this happen, try to wake up just 1 minute earlier each single day. By the end of the month, you're going to be able to wake up half an hour earlier. You can keep doing this gradual change until you reach your desired schedule. Of course, it doesn't have to be just 1 minute. You can try and adjust the time every day or every week. The important thing is that you are not too harsh on yourself. Of course, it will be easier for some people to make an extreme and drastic change, but a gradual change might be the only thing that works for some other people's bodies in the long term. There isn't a unique solution for everybody, so you need to test which one is better for you. And when you find the right time to wake up at, try to be as consistent as possible. Try to go to sleep and wake up around the same time every day. And when you create this habit, your body gets used to the new routine of waking up earlier and finally becomes something that you can do without any struggle. Waking up earlier is not an easy task for many people. In today's conversation, you learned that it is possible to use unusual techniques like artificial intelligence, making peace with this snooze button, and even hiring a personal trainer to help you to wake up earlier. Besides all these unusual tricks and tips, of course you can't forget about the common ones. Making your room as dark and quiet as possible, leaving your smartphone out of reach, drinking chamomile tea. All of this is known information and It's still very relevant. Now that you're able to wake up earlier, you can use that extra time to produce more and better. If you want to learn how to make the most out of your time, I invite you to watch a special class from Productivity Ninja course about time management. And to watch this class right now, you can go to arata.se/time management.